fuck's going on. They are not with this shit. The majority of America's not with this shit.
Yeah, but
they want to try something different this time.
This is crying wolf, though.
It's not. Take the fucking L. Stop fucking with these people. And maybe we can go with historically where they never fucked with us unprovoked. That maybe they'll stop fucking with us and we just be men and admit the fuck that we were wrong and try to work something out in a more diplomatic fashion without so much fucking bloodshed.
Well, JD Vance is in Pakistan. He's negotiating a deal.
Hold on. If at that point they're not willing to accept the fact that, the United States is what we got to do because we're not going to let America fall. But why are we rushing to bloodshed before diplomacy? That's my question.
We are diplomatic all the time. Are you kidding me? Communication never stops.
And with these ceasefires, again, it has always been us in Israel to fuck up and go back on the fucking ceasefires we fucking commit to, bro.
Be fair, right? We've only had one sitting president go to the DNC. One. The only sitting presidency to try diplomacy that ever went to the DNC. That's Donald J. Trump. He went there. He believes in diplomacy. But if you're going to act like, what happened with the 12-day war? We obliterated the nuclear sites. All right, cool. We obliterated it. But they were going to have the ability to retrieve that material. And they already have
and it's not obliterated, Anthony. Listen to what you just said. It's not obliterated. If they can still retrieve it, it's not obliterated.
Okay, so I'm not saying that it was like the term obliterated is relative. It doesn't mean that they couldn't recover it. Based on the information we had at the time, we believed when he said it during the 12-day war, right after the 12-day war, that it was a successful mission. We didn't build up the troops immediately.
If we got to go back,
we had bad intelligence.
Then that's what I'm saying. Like, this is so weird. You guys are now definitions are relative. No, obliterated is not relative. Obliterated means obliterated since it's mean obliterated. So again, then we got to start looking at our administration. Then you're giving us false fucking information. Give us false information.
And then we just don't react if you give that information, right?
And fucking Clapper or whoever was on there, and then some other nuclear sites, they all were saying you couldn't destroy the material. Like, you can't do that.
Exactly.
You can't bomb it from the outside. It just doesn't work that way. I know you know that, and I think some people are like literally confused. He was referring to their sites. They were obliterated. Like, to say otherwise is just kind of weird. But that material, and we didn't know if they smuggled it out, which apparently they said that they were not going to cease production. Anything above 20% becomes weapon grades capable. And it becomes a point of saying, well, the rest of the world doesn't want you to have this. Like, nobody sides with you on having this. And so we're going to say you can't have this, and we're going to go ahead and intervene on that. So, I mean, even there, yeah, Trump may have used the wrong word, but the sites were obliterated. You just can't kill uranium that way. Otherwise, Chernobyl, we would have just carpet bombed it and then been like, all right, it's all cleaned up. It just doesn't work that way.
Well, and my point is this. In America, we can talk about intelligence. Let's stop believing our intelligence altogether. Let's just ignore it forevermore because we can't say that it's been accurate, right? So let's just ignore it. Let's ignore Israel's because it's maybe been wrong. So we ignore it. But the fact is our intelligence didn't know they could go 2,500 miles. The intelligence doesn't know who has a gun in our own country. And you believe that they couldn't have maybe achieved it and moved it or have it at a secure location because the IAEA in 2025 said they have locations undisclosed to us, which was a violation, right? So the fact is they could have it. We don't know. Our intelligence didn't know about their freaking other missiles. Now, we should know about those if they've been firing them off, right? But to have the warhead, they haven't fired it off. We don't know if they've got it or not because, let's be real, the shit is down there deep. We don't know what's down there unless we don't have anybody going in there that I'm aware of. Israel maybe did have somebody that maybe they can say, no, we're not quite there. But the reality is we don't know.
Have you and Jeffrey
and when you play conservative with your, let's just give him a shot. That's when the guy takes a hammer and goes from the car to the woman's head, right? We waited too long.
Ice, the zit has already popped. The zit has already popped, Ice. When the Ayatollah was taken out and 200 other executives at the fake meeting they orchestrated, you would think that if they had a fail-safe, they would flip that switch and say, fuck it, we've already lost, and we will dispense everything. Don't believe the lies about these cave fortresses. If you got to bring a fucking rocket out of a hole from a mountain, you can blow that fucking hole to hell, and they ain't bringing out nothing. So it's not a fail-safe. There's no such thing as a perfectly secure military fortress. You are living in fucking La La Land, in my opinion. You're living in fucking La La Land.
So again, it's the issue of crying wolf. We heard this about Saddam Hussein and the weapons of mass destruction. Exactly what you said. We heard this about Assad with chemical weapons. And look, everything again. You cannot get mad at the American people for doubting what the United States government has been crying wolf with several other fucking leaders, several other countries, several other fucking conflicts. Again, it's been lie after lie after lie. And it's been our tax dollars. It's been our sons and daughters' blood. Okay, so again, we're not the ones that you have to have an issue with. It's the United States fucking government. We're done. We're tired of fucking being lied to. And if the United States government cared that fucking much, Ice, they would have told all them fucking lies.
Okay, so
the few times
who's the IAEA with? Is the IAEA American? Is that an American establishment that we use, or is that something that's international? Is that our intelligence? When the IAEA goes in to study this and says this is our findings, is that American intelligence, or is that something that comes from abroad?
I'm not sure. I can't answer that question. I'm not sure. I don't know.
It's an international agency, so that's why I'm saying, and I'm not sitting here saying that I don't know what our intelligence told us. None of us are going to know the exact thing. They're not going to tell us what's going on, but I'll tell you this. I just know what the agency that the world relies on, what they said. And when we wait, you can wait a little too long because the nuclear technology now.
That's not true, though, is it, Ice?
Hold on,
Ice. You just said the IAEA.
Hold on. I gotta ask you a question.
They truly said it wasn't, Iran wasn't enriching any uranium, and the American intelligence itself, Tom Scott, said that no one had any belief that Iran was enriching uranium. So I don't, if your argument is you're baiting it on intelligence, then I don't really understand where that's coming from.
Hold up. So let's just say Iran has a logs hidden in those mountain ranges, and they've had it for years. What's the indication that they were going to strike the U.S.? And I'm going to be honest, because someone mentioned it earlier, when we talk about imminent threats who have nukes to the U.S., Kim Jong-un's been popping shit for a very long time. And now wants them to go over there and take away his toys. So this, for out of let's just say, it's just crazy to me how, like, whimsically, in 2025, we just got to go over there and start fucking with them. And then we do it again. So, like, where is this innate disposition for the U.S. to now all of a sudden, under this administration, just go count them as an immediate threat? Then we're over there, we're saying it's a regime change. Then the administration, Trump even said, he's like, hey, that should have been removed. Let's take that. Let's also take into account, right? Trump is stuck with his adversaries, China and Russia, who get a lot of their oil from that stir. So it was kind of like a play from the Trump's administration to say, hey, let's kind of fuck with our major players. That way we can kind of regulate what they have going on. But obviously it's not working.
So Mister, I'll just say this: like currently in Korea, we walked across the DMZ. Kim Jong-un hasn't done shit with Trump in office because, I'll be quite frank, he's probably terrified and probably wants to work on economic relations. And there's been some talks, but those go under the radar. Also, we have a whole DMZ zone that pretty much guarantees we're doing something there. And we currently have their entire Navy, their naval fleet, including most of their fishing fucking things, locked in a harbor. They aren't getting out. They don't don't have the capabilities to do absolutely anything except stay there. He can launch a missile, but there is nothing going on. He's encircled. He's trapped in. And China and every other nation is not really giving North Korea the big out. In fact, they have a working relationship, but it's not as cozy as people think or the news media would make it out to be, because China really doesn't allow a lot of the North Koreans to cross over, and they've done a lot of things to North Koreans that have, like, quote, moved in and tried to disappear into the interior of China. They plop them right back and drop them over onto North Korea's soil. So there's not like this whole.
Why are we caring about that country?
Okay, great. Okay, yeah, Jesus Christ.
Hold on,
Wait, I'm finished, and then you can speak after you're done fucking, like, licking whatever it is off the floor.
So, service announcement. Public service announcement to the retards that just entered the stage. People are talking, so shut the fuck up and wait your turn. Go ahead, right?
Yeah, so like we have been we have a ton of sanctions on them, and North Korea just is irrelevant at this point. But it's, in terms of the IAEA or whatever it is, the alphabet agency, they have confirmed in 2020 and 2023, they confirmed that Iran was at 60%. They stated that this is well beyond the weapons grade, and it was 90% of completion of the ability to create it, because 60% is really, like, the hard part's over. It's just now basically a production factor, and then putting it into a device to launch it. So this now becomes a massive problem. And they said in 2025, prior to this, that yes, Iran has confirmed from multiple sites, from the information that they have, that they are still in or exceeding the 60% threshold, and that they currently have 450 some kilograms or something like that they were able to confirm that Iran has. And the belief was, if they were able to confirm this much with the way that Iran has not been open to inspection, and with what they see, there was beliefs that there may be actually more development than we're aware of. So the reports actually came out before Trump even bombed the 12-day war and all of this stuff, and we knew this, and it even occurred under Biden's administration. This was ongoing with issues. So I'm confused why people just don't say that there would be.
I'm all right. Please stop. We're having a dialogue. You got the rest.
Yeah, so they God damn, man, yo, you fucking idiot, bro. Give them a couple moments to go back and forth, and then we're gonna move on to the rest of the stage, please. I'm asking you. Go ahead, Mr. Shade. Brad, what do you guys?
Thank you. Now, I'm not disputing everything you're saying, Viking. What I am saying is this: is like I kind of used North Korea just as an example of an immediate threat with nukes. Now, we may have it contained, quote unquote, but at the same time, we're talking about a pressing threat. Now, I know you mentioned them getting closer and closer with reports from the IRGC in 2020, but again, I guess my mind is still saying, okay, well, they've been under development, quote unquote, for years. So I'm pretty sure they got it. But there's no, like, I'm trying to figure out, are there any reports that state that, like, hey, once Iran gets this completed, they're going to just start blowing shit up and coming right at the U.S. Like, that to me is what I'm trying to understand as far as, like, this immediate need, or why we just popped up and started fucking with them last year.
So the concern that has been iterated is not necessarily that they would desperate, like maybe they might try to reach us. And we are where they have IRBCs, which are interregional ballistic missiles. They have that capability. IRBMs, I'm sorry, I said the wrong thing. They don't have ICBMs, but they have IRBMs, and then they have ballistic missiles. So we're where they have these two different factions. And a lot of our politicians just automatically go to ICBMs. I don't know why they don't say the right thing. But these IRBMs, if they could be equipped even with a dirty bomb of sorts, these would prove to be very, very difficult. And Iran, yes, in part it is Israel because they are an ally. We wouldn't want them to use it. And there's no guarantee that, if it launches, that Israel wouldn't launch the 7 that they have. And then we'd have a nuclear holocaust. We would have something untold. It's not just about them. preventing them for us. It's more of preventing it for the region. Because if you imagine if they launch or Israel launches, now all of a sudden it's not just those nations that are affected, it's the entire freaking area, the entire multiple countries.
Are we be on the line?
Yeah, nuclear holocaust won't happen. If there's a nuclear strike, it's strategic and it's to a military, predetermined coordinate, and the world is going to have to eat it. But if you don't think there's ever going to be a nuclear detonation when we spend fucking trillions and other countries spend it's the biggest firework man has ever created, and we love to pop fireworks.
Crisis has been waiting patiently, and thank you, Crisis. I appreciate you. You got the mic, brother.
I've been waiting patient. I also waited with him.
You're gonna be waiting downstairs in the kitchen, man. Fuck up, man. Get tired of you. Take your ass out of the kitchen, make some sandwiches, bitch. Crisis, you got it. Make sure your bitch.
Hey, Sig, were you the one that mentioned earlier about like the different tactics? Stupid American motherfucker, listen to me.
You can talk down in the kitchen while you making sandwiches with a mom.
Yeah, hey, Sig, were you the one that mentioned earlier about the tactics?
Which tactics? Which ones?
In terms of like the different types of warfare, right?
Yeah. I did touch on it earlier. Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. So, like, I'm not really sure where people get this doom and gloom when it comes to the American military capabilities, but they're vastly ignorant of our capability. And I definitely agree with everything you were saying earlier, because it's you were calling it adjusting. In the military, I think when they say adjust, like the Marine call it adjust, adapt. And
same thing we saw with Russia and Ukraine. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And you can probably confirm this from me as ourselves into certain positions on the board. And I wanted to get your take on that, because I heard you say it earlier. I need you to know if you have stuff to that point. And I'm going to you because I'm in the middle of packing.
Absolutely, brother. So here's the thing. Yeah, kinetically, we could drop a couple nukes on Iran right now and just be fucking done. But again, there's going to be thousands, tens of thousands of dead civilians. Babies, women, elderly. The United States can't do that. It's optically, that's going to be a horrible fucking look. So that's not even an option on the table right now. Unless it becomes such an imminent threat to our civilian population, then that would be the only acceptable reason to use that option. So when it comes to adapting, we don't have what it takes right now. We don't have what it takes right now to go in as cleanly as our administration has been telling us we can. Because oh my God, dude.
So hold on, say, because you're about to. I want you to continue. But like when people jump off the mic, I'm not ready. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean?
They're retarded. They got two brains on, bro. IQ about 50.
Okay, because I have special forces in my family. So like I've heard them speak about this conflict the way that you've been speaking about this conflict. And it's really just a question of how far do we want to take it. If we want to take it to total warfare or full spectrum warfare, it's a wrap. But that's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah, well, the vast majority of the American people don't want to do that because we understand what the cost is. And that's why the real debate is a juice worth the squeeze. We can do it. There's no question.
I have another question for you, Sig. I heard you say that it's not on the table, but isn't it also on the table?
What are you asking him a question in the middle of him answering the question? What kind of sense is that?
You said
He's in the middle of answering a question.
you fucking asked him a question too, Bobo.
Can you ask him a question after he's answering you?
They said the exact same thing, buddy. So don't critique.
Just real quick, and then everybody, we go to the floor again. So no, it's on the table, but America has to have a really good justification in order to drop nukes. We can do it. There's no question about it. We can do it and completely be done in 2 seconds. But they're gonna have to have a really good justification for the rest of the world why they killed tens of millions of innocent women, children, and elderly in the process. All right. So what I'm thinking that the only justification we could have to do it is if Iran poses an imminent threat to our civilian population inside the borders of the United States of America. And that would be the only viable. If not, it's bad PR, bro. It's shit PR.
And that's the reason why I asked you this, because you think that we need to pay attention to the World Cup that's coming up in the U.S.
Miss Mandrade, señorita, bonita, hermosa.
So now, he kind of diverted over to the topic of terrorist attacks. And this is where Robert Page, he's actually, this is one of the things that he's really well known for. So he was one of the first professors to actually source every single terroristic attack to try to gain some insight on why they occur and how frequently they occur and when they occur. What he found, this was devastating news, okay, is that a lot of people assume Islam, when it comes to the Middle East, when it comes to Arabs and Islam, that the attacks are rooted in religion. And his study, his college paper found out that it wasn't. That there weren't that many terrorist attacks. Once America invades a country, boom, the terrorist attacks shoot up, right? 90% is what he found out in this shit. All right, so what we're looking at is, statistically speaking, once we ground invade
Trump's
Iran,
the
that's
sun.
more than likely when we're going to start seeing the terrorist attacks happen. We're going to start seeing these sleeper cells activate. Again, this is speculation, but this is based off his research. This is based off his publications. Is that the terrorist isn't really religious based; it's more politically based. And that happens to be when we invade other territories.
And then whenever you're saying like the optics, they wouldn't do it for the optics, but do you think that a president would make statements, the last 2 or 3 statements that Donald Trump made, if they were concerned about optics? Think about that.
Okay, so can we say something for dropping a nuclear bomb? The optics for that.
No, I understand, but think about what he said about civilization, ending of civilization. Praise be to Allah. Like, it's not normal shit that a president says. I don't think he gives a fuck about optics.
Well, here's the thing. If he didn't give a fuck about, right? Well, here's the thing, though, and you're right. But here's the thing, though. What's transpired in the last few days is that he made that threat to wipe out an entire civilization. And then, an hour or 2 before that deadline, he said that Iran gave him a 10-point request list that is workable, right? And then Iran has consistently been posting their 10-point list and has never wavered from it, never changed it. And so that's why everybody's skeptical. Was like, wait a minute, you said it was a workable 10-point list, and this is the 10-point list they've been showing since day fucking one. Then all of a sudden, Caroline Levitt comes on in front of the people and says, he threw, if you think that 10-point list that they've been presenting for this past month, a little over a month, almost a month and a half, if you think that's the list President Trump was referring to, no, he threw that list in the trash. So now the American people have the question, okay, so then what 10-point list are you talking about that's different from the one they've been consistently posting for the last month and a half? And this is where the White House is completely went silent now. And this is a bad look. This is a bad look for the White House and the president.
Okay, so can I speak?
Yeah, go right ahead. Someone good.
Yeah, I think, like, okay, so my biggest issue in terms of what's going on right now in the Middle East is Americans' war in the Middle East is not for Americans, it's for Israel, number one. Number two, it's like, I don't get it. Why would Israel not get a weapon to protect themselves? Especially looking at what's going on in the Middle East. Like, I don't get how people think that Pakistan had, nuclear weapon because of India. So if Israel has that weapon, why wouldn't Iran have it? I don't get it. Especially looking at what's going on in Palestine, looking at what's going on in Lebanon, Syria, in front of their nose. And all of a sudden, people in that region have to keep quiet. You cannot protect yourself because America said if you protect yourself, we're going to bomb you. And America don't even take shit from the UN. They don't take shit from the UN. So who in the hell, who would sit in a neighborhood where one particular person is bombing everybody, but you're not expected to protect yourself with a weapon that they also have? How does that make sense? How does that make sense? Hey,
Have you ever played chess, sir? Have you ever played checkers? It's called game theory. That's how it makes sense, sir.
Please, can I finish? See, the 20 years ago is not the 20 years now. People have moved on. People know who America is outside America. People have seen American tactics. People have seen Israeli tactics. We are no more than 20 years ago. People have to plan for the future. People have to put.
Sir, it's 2026. There's only the now.
Excuse me, sir, please. Thank you. So again, America is not the god of the world. He's just a country like any other person. Everybody have the right to protect themselves. Instead of what's going on in the world. It's only a fool who wouldn't go and put a nuclear weapon. Looking at what's going on right now.
Sir, are you an illegal alien in America? I just heard geese. Are you on a nature walk? Are those geese? Are you an illegal alien in America?
Go ahead, Tomo. You can finish it. You can finish it. Okay.
The president who have ever used a nuclear weapon is America. He should not even be the one talking when it comes to nuclear weapon. Who's supposed to use it? He's the one who have ever used a nuclear weapon on a country. So why is he even the police of nuclear weapons? He's not even supposed to be using it or even talking about it. But he's the only person who has used it and killed innocent people. So who gives him the right to be talking about other people how to get a nuclear weapon or not? This is ridiculous. Every country, a sovereign country, has the right to get a nuclear weapon if they feel that they are being threatened by another country. Being it Iran, being it Israel, being it Palestinian, being it Hold on, excuse me, sir.
So are you an illegal alien living in America? I just heard some geese flying overhead, sir.
You can go to Poland back where you came from. You can go to Poland, Russia, so again, so hold on. I was born in Africa, you fuck. Which part of Africa, sir? Which part of Africa? Oh, you fucking cunt. So you're an Arab. So you might better than go get you, you fucking racist.
Never had one lesson.
They are defining what it is to us. We know who they are. We know where they come from. It's just like you telling me I have a line. A stranger comes into my line and say that is part of him. No, we know where you come from, sir. We know where you smell, where you come from. So regardless whether you are there for 20 years, 100 years, we know where you come from. And we can trace you to where you come from. Your name says it. Your language says it. Where you come from? Excuse me, sir. Where you come from? Where did you come from? Please, you are not. So I was talking. You're the son of some Arabs. No, you dumb fuck. You're embarrassing me right now.
Okay, so Tomo, okay, we're working on topic. So let's get back on topic. What were you saying?
Exactly. Let me finish. Yeah, let me finish. So I'm just saying this. Look at what's going on in the world. Like everybody has.
Why are you gay?
So what the gay got to do about this? These guys are crazy. Anyway, if they cannot have a quality conversation, they just turn out to gay. These guys are fool. Anyway, so I'm saying, look at what's going on in the world. Everybody has to protect themselves. It's only a fool who's going to see somebody's ass burning and someone to put water underneath his ass. That's crazy. And the person who is burning somebody is calling somebody terrorist. Can you imagine? The people who kill people are calling people terrorists. Who are you? The definition of terrorist is you. It's crazy.
That's why I gotta agree with him, man. Like, we go over there fucking with people's sovereignty. We beat our chest. God-given rights.
Questions like they were kingdoms. Talk to my echo, thought it was all. Little universe on my pillow, spinning circles in my skull. Roll my name across the cosmos, still the silence swallowed it all. You cut through the soul of my light, through a painted sky. Jesus, you reveal what is real, pull me out of the lies inside. I am the only one. You lead me to the one true light. Mystery falling from my eyes, truth of self in your open sky. Call the wisdom just a spiral. Open a cage around my doubt. Every answer led to absence. Every secret just shut me out. Then you stepped into my nightmare. Tore the curtain, broke the spell. Said you love before you question. How you more than your
A nuclear weapon that's ready to go with the fucking delivery system. Guarantee you they're gonna fucking use it. Give fucking Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi one, when they were alive, they would use it. There's a big difference, bro. Israel probably, if anybody has a right to fucking use it, the amount.
I don't mean to. You keep talking about hypotheticals of people who might use it.
I'm not talking.
No, that's hypothetical. It actually is hypothetical.
Holy shit.
Whereas Tom just told you that the USA, he just told you that the USA had definitively and conclusively and factually used nuclear weapons. So speak about that point, baby, because you keep talking about hypotheticals whereby people might use nuclear weapons. This guy might do that. He might do that and stop him. He told you the USA has conclusively and factually used it. So speak to that point. So far, there's only one country that's ever used it. Speak to that point. Stop talking about hypotheticals, baby.
I don't need to speak to that point. I'm talking about Israel. He's saying that every country deserves to have a nuclear weapon. I'm saying absolutely no.
You just said that Pakistan and Iran and all the rest of them have used it.
I interrupted
Yeah, you don't have a response.
Not every country deserves a nuclear weapon. Not every country
Imagining
Wholeheartedly tell me that every country deserves to have a nuclear weapon. Someone out there is going to say, I'm going down, I'm going to fight him. Well-regulated area, the odds of getting away with something stupid there are very slim. Yet, talking about a nuclear weapon, you can say, fuck it, they're going to kick my ass. Let's just say it was Iran attacking Kuwait.
on the neon skies where the stars
Now, Iran doesn't take it down. Just wait. The more people that have it,
shadows whisper truth as the baseline drum. Lower this fire, unchained, untamed. No path is written, no soul is blamed. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Feel the swords, let the silence fill your will. On its wings, it's alive, it's real. Deliver from the lust of the thrill. Echo shattered glass, circuits come. Clock ticks slow, but it doesn't show. No purpose, no tether, just a beat and sink. Every way perfect, on the edge, on the brink. No chains, no bars, just a void to fill. Every pulse, every spark is a perfect way. Thou hast no right but to do thy will. Feel the surge, let the silence fill your will. On its way, it's alive, it's dead. Forever from the lust of the thrill. In the endless dark where the
Why do you have to like you think I'm God? Like what's wrong with you? Are you stupid or what? No, you're stupid. Anyways, no. So truth. So the difference between America and these other countries that you're talking about, these other countries want to die. They believe that this is how you fucking succeed. You go take their land. They said they want to die. You are giving part of this. You there's one problem with your order. You don't want to die. I said they want to die. And take their land.
Maybe just issue with what you just said. First of all, I never referred to any particular company. I never referred to any particular country having necessarily things to it. And the same problem you have is you can point to all these other potential reasons and say that they are wrong. But we can also look at the facts who have actually nuclear weapons, and we all know facts. One particular country, right? So you are operating I'm sure everyone of those guys who has facts over this time. If you're ignorant of that fact, that's your problem. But the point is, you cannot let that stay because you are operating on that platform. You keep saying other people will use nuclear weapons, other people will use weapons of mass destruction. Well, you haven't.
Ask the question, Joel, and then when BB starts to answer, you start talking over him. You want to talk about fucking compass, but everybody is dogpile when someone has a complete fucking opposite opinion. Say that fucking double fucking just fucking answer like well, BB wants to answer it, and then reply. Jesus, dude.
I really think what I tell you is that BB is not so good.
Understand how Americans on the stage don't understand the difference between fucking radical Islam and fucking Western civilization and the difference between people that want to live.
It's not about that.
exact same thing. They got interested. When I talk to you about boy talk, and I put it around fucking pull up. I thought this was talk.
Let us
You don't need to share your hobby with us. Just ask the question.
no chains, no despair.
Genocide's over there. It's not crying.
In the shadow,
Why can't you use that?
we carry peace into the night. I believe
It's a very simple question, guys. You guys can use something rational and very well put together. So the biggest thing is the question. And you that's on the way something to be you don't think anyone should have nuclear weapons. Fine. We agree to that. However, population. So presumably you're so concerned about the Iranian population. That's your concern, right? Like you just think so strongly in the Iranian people. That's what you think. The Iranian regime and so on needs to be dismantled. I guess you see what's happened with ICE and ICE killing American civilians and all the rest of it. Do you think on that basis,
civilians. ICE doesn't attack American civilians, so again, he's lying.
So no American citizens, don't attack ISIS. Okay, fine. We're just gonna make shit up.
Hold on. And then a female
decided to get in her car and attempt to
I know the Lord.
How about you actually settle your immigration status? How about you actually fucking practice what you preach and go sit there and do their laws instead of worrying about what the fucking national bitch of England keep us all flavors keeps us with you? Why don't you actually fucking bring up a point that actually has some variance of a slang, because you clearly don't know more than I do, and you clearly are the most on the mistake.
How many police officers do you think are trained to actually stand in front of a live engine block? If the engine block on a car is live, do you think they're going to just stand there and try to get out the way, or do you think they're going to start the fire?
So his cover move was actually on point. He shifted over from the rear to assess whether it was, came through the passenger side, and then he went to the front to provide cover while there was a third officer on the other officer's right at the back watching for that action. So he covered his angles right, because in case he did have to fire, since she was acting aggressive and it was uncertain what she had in there, he had the best line of sight in order to draw his weapon and fire, because it was the safest way. If he didn't go on the passenger side, he would have shot the other officers.
Through the flames and the embers, the spell is bespoke. Even arrows and slinging, last spring's tender glow. A force wild and brilliant, I know.
So the fact that I'm standing up for the person who is in front of the live engine block, he was not in the wrong to do it. And the fact that he tried to protect his safety, it's not like I was so
What happens in all of a sudden? His job is to protect anybody around. If somebody's driving around in a car.
Veils of thorn in her armor dazzling. The warrior spirit ignites every dream. The throne could command, but manhood awake. She took up her stand, brilliance resilient. A fire does burn, a goddess of spring. If the world were to turn, or fly without a dream, I invoke, through the flames and the embers, the spell
Isn't going out.
Your arrows and slinging, the spring's tender glow. Force wild and brilliant, power I know.
Well, for me, I was trained anywhere from 10 feet because that distance can close. Like a reaction I had to do auxiliary security. So we did a lot, like in there, it was the 15 circle, the 15-foot radius because that was still considered dangerous in that square fight.
It's 21. It's 21 is when it really is. But they talk to you about the circle within the circle. There's a circle that you originally perimeter yourself with, and then you have to understand distance from that circle. But when you're talking about a vehicle, that's a whole different game. When people use those examples, it's distracting. This is a person who lost a family member to a fucking cop who didn't do the right thing. And I'm still willing to stand up for the fact that they're not all bad people, bro. Like, this shit is crazy.
Literally had a town that I live in that
Oh, no, I scan something real quick. So, Christ types, just a little context for Mr. Truth and Troll. Here's something that you should be aware about those scenarios. If the whole time social media, they were basically where they would be rock shows. You know what an agitator is, Truth or Troll? So if Hold on, sir. So just listen to the conversation. So they were possibly having agitators. He's an agitator. So with that being said, the temperature of the whole environment was escalating. Did you know a lot of things?
That's perfectly fine. You're absolutely right.
Between branch people,
Please mute up and stop interrupting Truth. Stop interrupting. Let him fucking finish and mute your mic.
So they were putting water down to the officers while they were walking. They would slip and fall. They were throwing pepper spray out there. So they were causing a lot of physical harm. And now these officers in an intense chaos are dealing with individuals that are coming out in a vehicle to interfere in justice duty and then turn around and try and target with a vehicle. And so the temperature is highly elevated, and then your projection is our government with ICE is killing civilians, trying to